Hello,
Hello.
you. And welcome to another steaming hot cup of game tea delivered directly via the medium of internet into your eyes and ears.
My top might be definitely into people's eyes this evening.
That is an aggressively loud top, isn't it? How do I look?
Lovely.
Not great. I look pale, actually.
You do compared to my top, yeah.
Everything looks pale compared to your top. Right, hello everybody in the chat. Who have we got here today? Let's say hello to some people. Hayley, Dutch, Kiltia. Nice to see you, darlings. Psycho Pick. That's a new name. Thanks for coming to spend some time with us. Macwadalyn. Good evening, darlings. Yes, absolutely. Good evening to all the darlings out here in the stream tonight. So, how is everybody? How are we all? It's been rather a long time, hasn't it, since we streamed last?
It has. Yes. Internet issues.
Yeah.
We thought the internet had been fixed. We had the engineer out on Saturday. Since the renovations, it's been an intermittent fault. So we had him out on Saturday and he said it was fixed, and it's been absolutely fine until today.
Yeah, so please do excuse us in advance if there are any troubles whatsoever. We're trying to overcome them, aren't we? But
Hopefully it'll be fine, but if it does cut out, then the intermittent fault is
it's back.
causing issues.
It's back. We've been hacked.
Well, we have called the engineer again, so we'll see.
Yes!
And then you went to a spa.
I farmed myself some health. I was desperately low in the old hit points, so I thought I'm going
yeah, COVID
go
and all
to
that.
a health spa. Yeah. Yeah.
But what about me, your poor sister, left behind to hold the fort,
behind.
as is often the case.
Abandoned.
Mm.
It's the only word for it.
Mm.
Yeah, so I went to the spa. Not the local convenience store. I went to a health farm and resort, which is just really an excuse for me to eat an offensive amount of food in a beautiful environment.
And not feel guilty
No,
because
not
the
feel guilty.
food is
not feel guilty because at
healthy.
the same time I'm inhaling lots of aromatherapy.
Exactly.
Okay, did I tell you I got locked into a cryogenic unit though?
No, you didn't.
Basically did.
Did you?
Yeah, basically did.
Oh no. Have they got those there? Those cryogenic units? I've always wanted to try one of those.
Right.
Footballers use them.
So what happened was there's a new piece of technology that they have in the health spa, and it is a aqua massage bed. And I thought to myself, well, that sounds like fun. It was advertised as the epitome of relaxation. So I thought, yeah, get me on that.
A waterbed. I mean, these are not new things, are they?
Yeah. £30 it was. And I booked it up, went in, and immediately I take one look at the thing and I'm getting Locutus of Borg vibes straight away. You know? And you know in Alien, when they do go into the cryogenic pods, imagine that. Except somebody put a folded towel over it.
Oh.
So that was nice. And the girl said, you know, what do you want this to achieve? You know, because there's invigoration, relaxation, or rebalancing. And I was like, rebalancing? Do I look like a punctured tyre? You don't answer that. And anyway, I found myself reclining on this bed system, and this cryogenic screen was clamped over me, and an iPad was kind of floating in front of my face.
So you were locked into this thing.
Well,
that's pretty scary.
I could leave,
Okay.
but it was quite heavy to push off.
All right.
And the girl says you can set this at any intensity, you know, it's automatic because there's jets under the bed that will be massaging you in a circular fashion. You'd never say that to me because instantly I'll put that up to 10,
Right.
which is what I did. 10 volume, 10 intensity,
Okay.
and music.
So you wanted to be invigorated then?
Well, yeah, I ended up being invigorated. I don't think I had much choice about that, actually. And a flashing rainbow light.
Okay.
It's light therapy, which was so strong it pierced through my eyelids.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's like a Pride festival gone wrong.
It was, yes. It was Aurora Borealis localised entirely to my cryogenic pod. Anyway, then the jets came on, and I can only describe it as being, when you take your car through an automatic car wash, same sound, except it's happening to your head and skull. Yeah, it massaged my skull. And overall, 20 minutes. I don't think I'd do it again.
Okay.
But, it was a novel experience.
So, when you came back and you recommended this to me, you just wanted me to go through some torturous ordeal, didn't you? So you could laugh at me.
Look, you're a big sci-fi fan, is what I thought. If anybody's going to enjoy
as long as
a cryogenic,
no facehuggers
flashing...
locked in there with you, you're all right.
Exactly.
You're all right. You can chill. You're all right.
So that was my experience. Yes. Now, because it has been so long, we've actually got a lot to catch up on tonight, haven't we?
I've got loads to show. I don't know how much I'll get through.
We've got a ton to show you. New products, new Kickstarter, talking about Gamescom, updates on the Kickstarter fulfillment, and I've devised an interesting game for everybody.
Sounds good.
It's called Guess the Growth.
Mm.
Sounds good, right?
Oh, Dr. Pimple Popper, no! Don't get me started on that one.
Don't.
Or Botched. Botched by Nature. It's a hideous programme as well, isn't it?
Yes, so, I don't know. Is anybody currently watching Gamescom? It's live pretty much at the moment, and announcements are coming out all the time. And there's some really exciting stuff, actually. I have noticed something of a trend. The games industry has obviously decided that they like Bloodborne a lot and are going to make a lot of games that look like Bloodborne. I'm perfectly happy with that. Keep them coming.
Look, I just want a release date for Starfield. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Next Souls game is going to be a sci-fi experience, so you'll be happy with that. And there was some news, actually, that Hideo Kojima has got his own podcast.
Well, that's going to do well, isn't it?
Yeah, in Japanese and English. But I don't think it's got a title yet. And I was thinking he could call it Hideo Kojima's Nuclear Know-How. Because...
Or Hideo Podjima.
That's a good one. Well, anybody that's played a Metal Gear Solid knows that they do offer an education equivalent to a degree in nuclear physics. So
wow. Okay.
They don't.
Oh.
You've never played one, have you?
No.
Right. I'm being completely facetious. He talks a lot about nuclear warfare.
Right.
So yeah,
the last game that I saw they made was a baby in a pod thing on somebody's back. Which I never played.
No, that was Death Stranding. Brilliant soundtrack. Loved it. Lots of synth.
Norman Reedus did wear our hoodie though.
Yes, Norman.
So that was pretty cool.
Photography says Lies of P. Clearly thinking Life of Pi. Yeah, I misspelt it as that initially, actually. There's a game coming out that's based on Pinocchio. And it has a perfect...
Is it called Lies of P?
Baroque.
Because that would be a great title.
Yes, it's called Lies of P. Yeah. It's got this really nice dark steampunk baroque magic aesthetic that I'm really, really that idea. Into.
Yeah.
Dutch says, not been a priority for me. Been binge watching Boston Legal for some reason. We never know what you get up to, Dutch. On a day-to-day basis. What does that mean? Oh yeah, because you spy on his Twitter.
I do.
Sorry, we find our fans and customers very interesting, that's all. Photography says, I will be there day one for anything Kojima related, hoping the rumours of him doing a horror game are true. It would be phenomenal, wouldn't it? Let's face it. He knows
Big
his
fan
stuff.
of horror.
He just knows how to make a good game. A cinematic experience. So anyway, are we all ready to play Guess the Growth?
I mean, as long as it's not too, like, you know, Dr. Pimple Popperish.
Well, no, look, listen. Everybody's always asking me, aren't they, to show what I've harvested in my garden. And what I've grown in my garden.
I wonder what you're going to say then, because you like show. People are always asking me to show.
Well,
your boobs.
You should see my DMs. Well, anyway, people are always saying, you know, what have you grown in your garden? What's, you know, new this week? What have you eaten? What have you harvested? And I thought I would show you what happens when Mother Nature is divested of the hand of man and chemicals and pesticides. Because when you grow things organically, weird stuff happens, chat. Weird stuff. And anyway,
you've actually brought it with you.
Consequently, I've grown what can only be described as an object. Okay, now
it kind of looks like a deformed pumpkin.
The growth is a simple game in which chat has to guess what this growth is, and if they guess correctly, I will give them a £5 voucher.
And send you the growth.
No. No, goodness me, I've got plans for this growth.
Oh my god, you're going to eat it?
Of course I'm going to eat it.
Okay.
And I'll send you a £5 voucher to spend on GameTea. You can have a lot of fun with £5 on GameTea. A lot of fun with £5 on GameTea. So, chat, I want to hear your best guesses in the chat. And look at that. Just like that, Kiltia has swept in. And she's got it. She's got it in one. The first correct answer, it's a courgette. It's a massive, bloody, humongous courgette. Now,
why is it yellow?
What it actually... It's just the colour of it. It's called a Tina Polka. It's the brand of courgette. But what actually happened here, chat, is that two courgettes have fused together. And creating a mega courgette.
Okay.
So this...
Not a mega pint, but a mega courgette.
Horror, this precious little horror has been growing in my garden, unchecked. And here it stands before you, a perfectly eldritch abomination. And well done, Kiltia, for winning £5 for guessing the growth.
Well done, darling.
Yes, well done. And I shall be having that later in a pasta bake. So she says,
I might be slightly put off.
Called it Audrey 3.
I bet your mum might be eating that.
I don't think Mum will be eating that. She'd be
Some
like,
good guesses.
she'd be
in
like,
chat, some
it's
really
too
good
weird.
Guesses, well done to Kiltia.
Too weird for Mum to eat that.
Kiltia kind of knows. She kind of knows my mind, so I can't tell her.
Kiltia may well have grown one.
That's true.
You don't know.
So, what shall we start with? It's probably worth mentioning that if anybody has any PC game recommendations, Roxy has got her date for her Steam Deck. So, finally. So she's looking for recommendations. We think that she should be starting with Fallout 3.
I think Fallout 4 straight in there, personally.
Let's see your recommendations, chat. PC games, what are we thinking? I think Project Zomboid. I think Roxy would absolutely love that as well. Angelic says 2 Point Hospital, 2 Point School.
I think she's played that on the Switch.
Yes, you have. Oh gosh, yes, that's the infamous one where you got age checked, isn't it?
Yes.
In Argos for a 12+ game.
Yeah.
They wouldn't sell it me, and they didn't sell it me.
Well, that's that. Hayley says Fallout definitely.
Thanks, Argos.
Heggers says going to suggest the Asmodee digital board game catalogue. Interesting. I think that you could have a lot of fun with Half-Life 2 as well, considering it's a game you've never ever played. Crumpet says there's a new 2 Point game called 2 Point Campus. Yes, that's what I meant when I said 2 Point School. And photography says The Outer Wilds, yeah. From the developers of Fallout New Vegas, of course.
No, I think that was The Outer Worlds.
Oh, what's The Outer Wilds then?
I don't know, but it was the Outer Worlds that's
You're
the
correct.
really rubbish game that I hated.
Oh dear. Kilty says, what type of games do you enjoy, Roxy?
She loves Skyrim.
GTA.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but she plays on a handheld,
Zelda.
don't you? That's like how you... Yeah, Breath of the Wild she loved. Open world then, I guess. Yeah, you loved Witcher.
A lot of open world
A lot of
sandbox.
open world. She might like Red Dead Redemption, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Lima Zulu Tango suggests. Oh no. Lima Zulu Tango is asking if we're bringing back the ceramics. They're actually already made and they are in the office waiting to be launched. We have just been so busy that we haven't had a moment.
I'm the one responsible because I need to get the proper smash proof boxes made first.
Yeah.
But things have been really busy. But I'll try and get them ready for next week. How's that?
Yeah, let's see if we can do that. That would
The
be
Shinra
very,
mug
very
is
good.
coming back,
We
which
have
you'll all
got
be
some
very
really
pleased about.
Interesting products actually to show you tonight as well. We've been developing some new things alongside our manufacturer.
Mm. Would you like me to show them?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I won't linger too long because I've got a lot to get through. Well, I've got some nice stuff here. Let's have a quick. Should we do the cushion first? Because this is really cool.
Yes.
I bet you switched to the product camera, haven't you? No. Okay. Right. Well, this
I'm
is
so
a
excited.
round cushion. We did want it two sides, but the manufacturer we're working with couldn't do two sides. So it is still lovely on the back. It's the faux suede again. But yeah, we decided to go with a round design because it's kind of beautiful.
When is the last time you saw a round cushion that looked so good? Of course, you'll recognise this design, this D20 design, from our bandanas. It just looked so good on a cushion that we couldn't resist. So, yes, that one's going live really shortly. And to join that one,
Yeah.
have a look at this, guys.
So Roxy, if you can switch to the product camera, please, darling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Here we are. So this then is a coaster to match the cushion. How lovely is that?
That is
Matching
absolutely
the
gorgeous.
Cushion and
Yeah,
coaster.
so if you're thinking gifts, because Christmas is approaching.
Oh, don't,
It
because
is.
Halloween's first and that's my
Oh,
favourite
no,
time
no,
of the
no.
year.
Well, you know, somebody was ordering Christmas presents last night.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. I'm very organised.
This, my darlings,
I just
is
I just love Christmas.
is the solid acacia dice hexagonal dice box, and it is magnetic. So if you have a really nice set of dice, or you want to gift somebody a really nice set of dice that, I don't know, like the gemstone dice or something, this box could be absolutely lovely. Now I've left it plain because I think the wood is absolutely beautiful on it. But I mean, you could get it engraved potentially, so there we are. That's absolutely lovely. Let's do the next wooden item.
So all of these are already on site at the moment.
Yeah, these are on site already.
The cushion and the coaster are not yet on site.
No. So this is the solid acacia companion box. Again, it is magnetic. But the great thing about it is that the top or the bottom, I suppose it would be the top, wouldn't it, comes away, and that becomes your dice tray. So you can have that next to your little area here. And then you have this organising section here, which obviously you put your dice in there. These do fit dice as well, so you could have a dice set there, dice, or pen, mini dice perhaps, paper clips, rubber,
Miniature.
probably in this section here, or post-it note, whatever you like. You can organise to your heart's content. And that is an absolutely lovely
God,
gift.
that's so organised.
Again,
Your players
I've
will
left
exclaim.
it plain because I think the wood just speaks for itself. It's absolutely beautiful, and that's the bottom of it. So there you go, and it won't come open.
Mm-hmm.
It is magnetic.
Yeah, very strong magnets as well. Look at that lovely glossy hardwood.
This is a tray. We call this a solid acacia tray, and actually this has somewhere for your phone to go in. So you've got pen slot there, phone here, dice rolling tray here, and I guess, you know, minis, whatever you want to put in there. Again, to your heart's content. That's just a really nice piece of wood to organise your gaming. Moving swiftly on. Now this is lovely. Again, if you've got a really nice set of dice and you want to keep them, you know, in a special place, this is, again, solid acacia. But the good thing and the benefit with this is that it is velvet lined. So if you were to be, you know, putting your gemstone in there or your sharp edge dice, then you know that they're not going to smash onto the wood and get damaged. Again, that is magnetic closure on that. There you go. That's a beauty. Live at the moment on GameTea. Nice little set of dice here that I've called Wildflower Meadow, because I actually grew a wildflower meadow. Well, not a meadow. I sectioned off a small area of my garden this year, and I grew some wildflowers because we have to do our bit, you know, for nature and help the bees. And the colours in these dice reminded me of that beautiful, beautiful meadow. Get them in focus. They are. So they're lovely. They are on site. Wildflower Meadow.
Right. Lovely.
And lastly,
Oh, one more.
how could we forget? Come on now.
Love them.
Runic Synthwave, I believe.
Yes, absolutely.
They
What an
are
aesthetic.
the epitome
A commanding
of
aesthetic.
cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, eat your heart out. Pink of all colours to match my top.
Oh, perfectly done.
Holographic inside. So if you know anyone that's into, you know, cyberpunk or that sort of aesthetic, sci-fi, Blade Runner, the likes of,
Oh, look at that.
then
That mylar
go for it.
just scintillates in the light.
And that's it. That's all I wanted to show you this week.
Dutch, by the way, I wanted to say well done on such beautiful prints of the models from Plate Proud. They looked absolutely fantastic.
Loved the
They've
colour
been
of that
beautifully.
resin. Very nice.
Really, really impressed by that. Dutch Barracuda says, in fact, Synthwave sure, but they really match the aesthetic of the Tunnel of Love one shot. Yes,
Yeah.
they do, which is now in production and really is going to ship far, far in advance of our estimate of December. So
Absolutely.
if you are waiting for Play It Proud, you can expect it sooner rather than later, and that's going to be super exciting.
It is.
The rainbow paper looks amazing
Yep.
for the zine. And actually I was so inspired by the zine that I do want to create some more. And Micah and I have been working on some adventures.
Well, this project, guys, it is a really, really nice one. I think you're all going to really like it.
Yeah, so from that kind of initial idea, we're going to have something called Hallow Zine, where we were going to publish several zines in October that were themed around our Halloween candles. Always a bestseller. You probably have had them in the past. Things like Horseman's Head, Victorian Seance, Transylvania to England. They themselves would make captivating short adventures. So that's the idea that we began with. But it has metamorphosized since then.
It has evolved.
It
As
has.
these things often do.
And towards the end of the stream, I'm going to be revealing the work that I've been doing on our next Kickstarter, or more specifically, it may not be our next Kickstarter, but it certainly is our next deck of cards. So really, really excited to show you that one. Mike says, any news on the ambassador programme? I think we're going through entries very shortly, so you will hear back from us soon. Lima Zulu Tango says, hey Lucy, had any use for the passport cover yet?
Of course. I use it all the time. Actually, I had it as a notebook cover in the end, and I use it pretty much every day. I just love it. Thank you so much. Beautiful thing.
Maquadalyn says you could wood burn the dice boxes. Yes.
Exactly.
That would be beautiful.
You could. Initials or...
And Hayley says it's a
sweet
coaster.
design.
I need it.
Hayley needs everything we do.
So what did you think about the cushion then, guys? It's the same great quality as
I'm just
other
sitting here
cushions.
like hugging it because it's just so nice. The quality is fantastic.
Yeah.
The innards are just bouncy and just the right sort of firmness. Yeah.
They've got that nice polyester insert. And they'll all come with that as well, meaning that you don't have to bother. I cheated then, did chat see? I drank from a can and not the teacup.
That's naughty.
Saw nothing. I was fully stealth mode. We've had some really interesting announcements actually in the world of D&D this week, because there's been a lot of talk about something called 1D&D, which is an evolution of rules for 5th edition that is fully backwards compatible with 5th edition. So they're basically just tweaking some small elements of the game to make some improvements. Some of them have been things that we've been asking for many years. Other things have been radically controversial, and some things have caused disagreements and flame wars across the internet, of which I've been involved.
Really?
Well,
you should stay out of these things. I told you.
Listen to me.
Social media
That's
not what it's for.
As a long-term DM, I fundamentally disagree with the new ruling that monsters cannot score a critical hit against the players. Now, I know it can cause TPKs and I know it can eradicate characters, but the thing is, that's part of what builds tension within a game. Because the players have to choose whether they're going to face the monster, whether they're going to avoid the battle. And if they are touch and go about their abilities in comparison to an adversary, then they maybe should be thinking twice. They maybe should be involved in the process of strategy rather than just running in with the assurance that that monster that perhaps they've encountered before, not talking about kind of new monsters that they might be unsure of, but a monster that they've encountered before poses no challenge to them whatsoever, because it's impossible for that, let's say, a group of goblins to score successful critical hits.
I suppose at the beginning of the game, if the DM did say, look, I've imposed this rule, then everybody would know what they were getting themselves into at that point, so they could be more cautious.
It's great for the players. It's absolutely great for the players, but I just think that if the players themselves can do it in the game, what makes them fundamentally special over, say, a big bad guy?
I can see your point of view there.
Yeah.
As long as you know what sort of playing field you're on, then you know you can make the decision to run. I honestly
don't get the big deal about major rule changes like that. After all, the point of D&D is that you can customise it however you like. Totally. I mean, we have many house rules that we follow, so it's something that you could just not have in your game. I think really it applies to the more formal D&D experiences that are maybe being streamed or promoted professionally, or Adventurers Guild experiences, things like that. Still, it's in playtesting, so it might be removed. This is not coming until 2024, earliest. Savage Crumpet says something to consider from version 1 of D&D that was written on the first page. These rules are not set in stone and should only be used as a guideline to grow your own rules from. Wisdom. Absolutely wisdom.
Yeah.
And Lima Zulu Tango says all have a CR of 3 or less, has no way of scoring a critical hit. Now that makes sense. And Dutch says, far more interested in playing some Spelljammer. That's of course the space supplement, which has had mixed reviews. I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't had time to look at it personally. What do you think, Dutch? Has anybody played Spelljammer? What do you think? Let's get some opinions. Since this, I saw something on this as well. How do you feel about in-game races being allowed to be xenophobic? Because I think they should be allowed to. I would say that it is going to depend on the story that you want to tell as collaborative storytellers around that table. Because I can see many, many, many instances where people just simply wouldn't want to experience xenophobia. I mean, it's a fantasy game, we're playing it for escapism. And if these are challenges that you face every day in your actual life, you're going to want to get away from them in the gaming sphere. You may also want to tell a story that is about the triumph over complete and utter adversity. Make sure that your players understand and going in and talk to them carefully as you're doing your game planning, and make sure everybody's at their comfort level and they're happy. Mm-hmm. But the thing is about this, now I know they're saying things like, the drow are not innately evil. That's fine, but they never have been, because, Drizzt is one of the most popular characters in D&D lore. The books have been around for 25 years, and it's about a story of a drow that is good. So, these deterministic statuses for the races and species in D&D, they've always been played with. They've always been played with by DMs and by people that construct the lore of D&D, so not new, I suppose. I understand why they're removing it. But I don't think you'll ever remove those kind of stories from the table, because they are part of the human experience, and naturally that's going to spill through to fantasy.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Dutch Barracuda says the adventures read very old school Flash Gordon, Silver Underwear, and they released an amazing music album. That sounds really good. I'm going to have a look into that. And Crumpet says, oh, apparently it's banned now. I'll have to have a closer look. Those are my thoughts. What does everybody else think?
It's always a difficult subject.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've got it right by, making sure everybody in the party is happy first.
Yeah. People do face challenges because of
it's
their
real
unique
life.
Physiology.
Yeah, that is real life.
Yeah. Because at that point, if you remove that tension from the core story that you're trying to tell, I can understand why. But at that point, you are essentially living in an idealistic vision of a society that has more in common with something like Gene Roddenberry's vision for Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we, as a human species, have completely and utterly divested ourselves of the problems of the past and those societies that our civilization has faced. It's an ideal world. Is it an interesting world? Well, yes, I absolutely love Star Trek. I think it's fertile ground for stories.
But, there are instances when the aliens are racist, I suppose, within those stories.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a thing that it never happens. It still happens.
It does. But humanity...
Just not to the human race at that point.
Humanity has moved past it. Lima Zulu Tango says, as long as the player isn't using their character's xenophobia as a way to be an arse, because that is very transparent, and that can happen. And
that is irritating. Thankfully, we've never had it, but
it feels why
I know
Wizards
of
of the Coast has had to instate this, because there have been such a lot of horror stories.
I know of people that,
and people have been really hurt, and they've left the game.
Yeah.
Dutch says it depends on the theme of the game entirely, and of course the players. Yes. Customise and make sure everybody's comfortable. And Kiltia has some thoughts. I think each table should be able to adopt their own way of handling the topic, and players should have agency over saying, I'd rather not engage in those themes. Hard agree. So long as DMs and players can talk about what they want at their table in their game, then I think it's good to explore all manner of topics provided it's done in a way that is constructive rather than offensive. Mm-hmm. And Crumpet says, I think when it's done correctly it's fine. D&D is meant to be another world, not an ideal world. See you soon. Nice to see you, Lima Zulu Tango. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so there's also been some other additions that are quite interesting. Orcs have been added into the player's handbook. So Roxy, you'll be happy about that.
Yeah, she loves her orc in Skyrim.
Everybody gets a feat at level 1. They think because of their background. I love that idea. That's a brilliant idea. More of that. Because really your background didn't have a huge impact over how your character was played, and it really should. You know, if you've spent your lifetime as a soldier, you know, you really should have some. It should have some effect in game. There have been a couple of additions to the bloodlines, so now we get a new race called the Ardlings that are related somewhat to the Heavenly Planes. And they all have the faces of animals, so something akin to sort of an Egyptian pantheon.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. What else? They're simplifying a lot of the sub-races, which makes sense, because they're more cultural than, you know, being a literal sub-race of a species. They've added the musician feat. I'm so glad about that.
That's cool.
I'm really, really sick of like labouring homebrew musician things, because my campaign focuses a lot on conductors, music, orchestrations. And of course Matt Mercer has the fantastic Maestro class that he invented. It looks great. There seems to be a big push to go completely digital. Don't know how that's going to work.
Well, for me, you can't beat being around the table. I mean, during lockdown, COVID thing, we played a lot of digital stuff online, didn't we? And although it is very good, don't get me wrong, there is nothing like sitting down with your friends.
I miss Prinny.
With some snacks, not a giant courgette, but some, you know, really nice
Sitting down with a
snacks.
snack.
And getting your book open and just role playing and having fun. There's nothing like that for me.
Yeah, listen, I love digital. Something special about the table. It's inimitable. You just have more fun. Don't know what it is. And I've tried everything. I've tried making, you know, cinematic visuals and fully scoring my sessions and doing every trick in the videographer's book and having live action GIFs and everything. But being around the table, simply being there physically with each other, it's incomparable, you know. And I think they are going to certainly make their full suite of digital tools, and they'll be very, very useful for people. Go ahead and do it. But ultimately,
I think what they've done is they've thought,
Face-to-face.
everybody's playing online. Not realising that actually, you know what, that was just because of COVID and
was
lockdown.
out of necessity.
And, you know, things getting, well, are they getting better? Or are we just hearing less about it? I don't know.
Angelic's audience says, Lucy's trying to make a serious point and AJ is baby rocking a wonky courgette. You're not wrong. And Dutch says, playing your zine with my polycule, dressing up, role-playing and doing big gestures and voices and snacks and everything. It was amazing.
You looked so,
so
good.
I want to be in that session.
So good.
I know. You did, Dutch. You looked
I could just see you as
amazing.
Tina Fling, you know,
Fantastic.
giving it all this.
Well done. So I've got a question for everybody actually, because we've just had a discussion about what is coming to D&D 1. Have you got any suggestions about what you would like to incorporate into the official rules? Chat, let's see some answers. I'll tell you what mine is, just to start you off. I would like to see a real, well thought out, low magic setting. Because we've done high magic. We know everything about how to play a high magic game. what about if you want a world where magic is incredibly rare?
Well, you can do your own.
Yes, absolutely. But what I'm saying is maybe in the...
And we did that Western one, which was really good.
True, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I do a lot of adaptations to the D&D rules. Happily create no magic worlds. However, once you're above a certain level, you can really only have your characters play things like monk and fighter, realistically. Or then you have to start making spellcasters have things like guns and plasma rifles and Tesla rifles and Gauss rifles to explain their spellcasting abilities. And that works up until a certain point, but not when you get into the higher levels. So I'd like to see some proper low magic stats being published. Photography says some official duet one-shots, so you can play one-on-one with a partner. That is a very specialised experience. It does say on the D&D book 2 to 6 players. It's certainly very interesting. Dr. Breos says, I've always been a big fan of low or no magic stories. Yeah, I'm with you. By the way, Crumpets, can you say hello to poor Leo? Poor Leo's laptop has broken and they cannot be moderating the stream.
Oh.
But we miss you, Leo.
Oh dear.
Dr. Bray says it would be great to have some basic rules for it without having to homebrew everything. Yeah, I agree. So what are we thinking about incorporating rules?
I don't know about rules.
You don't know.
Mermaids. Can we have mermaids? Mermaid people?
I mean, yeah, they're already in D&D.
I
but
thought
yes.
they might. Can you have them as a proper race?
The problem with you and rules is that you never bloody read them.
That's right.
True.
She never reads the character sheets, hardly. That's Roxy's job.
I don't understand the wording. It's like
Lucy.
you do this and then that and then this happens and then you could do this as well, and I'm just like, I don't understand. So I just play it. I just roll my dice and just play it. And if I don't understand something, I'll just ask Toby or Roxy.
Yeah. But we did end up playing for about 6 months with you at level 3 and everybody else at level 4, didn't we? Because somebody didn't know how to level up and then promptly forgot all about
Well,
it.
I obviously did all right because nobody noticed.
Crumpet says, I'm unsure about integrating rules because when people say I want to see this or that, D&D is literally meant to be a world that can be imagined and should be free to expand. And I just think keep adding rules is a negative impact to that.
I am with you there.
Rules, a strong argument.
Rules are not a thing that I don't follow
and
them.
you are saying less rules. Let's streamline. Let's simplify. Let's smooth it.
Because you can get really well, you can't do this because of that. And
Dutch says I would like a better cheat sheet of rules, just a quick printable to show the flow of combat. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
If you're looking for one of those, I highly recommend a website called fastcharacter.com, which has an excellent one-page PDF at the bottom of each character generated that just shows the players what they can do in a battle. Because you would be surprised at how many people forget simply to take a bonus action.
Yeah.
They don't understand it properly.
Yeah, no, rules are not my thing.
I know.
I just make pretty things.
Yes, you do.
You do the rules.
You do beautifully. Well, Micah helps me enormously as well.
And you just do the rules.
Let's face it, most people know the basics, but the hobby is, getting a huge influx of people that don't know.
I think it could definitely be made easier for people coming into
the hobby.
Because, it's a bit overwhelming and it doesn't need to be and it shouldn't be. I suppose it's a bit like Warhammer. It's like, where do I start? Or reading Terry Pratchett, where do I start? It's the same type of thing.
Yeah, no, you've got a point. And, ultimately they do exist to sell books. And the amount of books is getting a little bit overwhelming.
For a newcomer, that's a crazy amount of books, isn't it?
Yeah, I want you to imagine a scenario
where do you start?
Where you have a completely new party, that the DM is new, and all the players are new.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of reading to do.
Any type of game with an extensive manual.
Extensive manual.
Yeah. And like I said, the wording for me is difficult, which is why I just ask somebody else. Because I'm not stupid, but the wording for me is I just find it really, I don't know, I can't take it in very well.
D&D is the book edition of Sims games. Yeah. What's the new one? Werewolf update? Or school update? Or werewolves in school updates? Who knows? But yeah, okay. Well, that settles that then. Less rules in D&D overall. And a new low magic world. Now, would everybody like to see what I've been getting up to? What has been keeping me out of trouble and off the streets for the last 4 weeks?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, well, first of all, let me explain. So as you know, Micah and I were working on the Halloween zines, and we came up with an idea for a zine that would be Halloween costumes. So what you would be able to do is incorporate these into your D&D game. Actually, we're going system agnostic for this. You would be able to incorporate them into your RPGs. You would select a piece of clothing and a mask to create a guise. And when you were in the guise, you would have access to certain abilities that were sympathetic to the costume that you were wearing. And as I was doing the artwork for some of the masks, I thought this would make a really good deck of magical items. And if you know anything about me at all, you know that I love masks. I love them, I collect them, in fact. And I'm fascinated with them, always have been. And so I suggested to Micah that we instead adapt that project into something different, something called the Masks of Infamy, which would be a tarot-sized deck of cards, around 50 cards, all based on magical masks. And so, this is the grand reveal of some of the artwork behind the Masks of Infamy. Let's take a look. So, here we have 3 cards. We've got the Mask of the Vile Troop, the Mask of the Wandering Wheeler, and the Shipcaster's Mask. And so, the way these would work is that your characters would attune to them in the game and be granted abilities when doing so. So the mask on the far right, that's the Shipcaster's Mask, and it's painted with Phoenician eyes, you know, the sort that they used to paint on their ships, and scrimshaw markings. And the Mask of the Vile Troop, that's the trio there. Well, we've got an idea that that might be a band of musical assassins that the players are tasked with hunting down. The masks will be something that you have to collect. If you collect all 3, dispensing with the assassins or persuading them to give up their life of crime, you'll be able to get a bounty in game. You may even be able to wear them for certain effects. Let's have a look at some more.
They remind me of the masks in Skyrim, you know, those ones that you used to have to go and collect and then you put them on the little statue things.
Yeah, the Dragon Priest masks. Again, something that I absolutely love to see.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's
Yes.
like Frankenstein.
Yeah, so this is called the Waxen Mask. And this is a single-use item that will, when pressed to your face, enable you to speak the name of a deceased loved one or character that you know by name. From that point onwards, you will be able to converse with that deceased spirit for exactly 7 minutes. At the end of the 7 minutes, as indicated by the 7 flames.
What if they don't want to talk to you?
Well, sounds like you've got some apologising to do in that case. At the end of the 7 minutes, that waxen mask will become a useless lump till it is passed to the next wearer. Only ever be used once. Let's have a look at some more.
So on the reverse of these cards is the rules.
Exactly, yeah.
And are we going to gild the edges? I think we need to gild them.
certainly
I'd
are.
say silver, would you? Or gold?
I want to take some votes on what colour the edges should be. This is the hare's mama. And I've popped this on just to show you an example of how the artwork is initially painted and then it is moved over to the card. Just a little bit of a how-to, really.
These are fantastic. How many are there going to be?
I want to do 50.
That is going to be a nice deck.
If it is a Kickstarter, I want to do some stretch goals, so there'll be like maybe 5 additional
special
cards.
ones, gilded.
Yes. So maybe 5 additional steampunk themed cards, and maybe 5 additional, not cyberpunk, but you know, artificer wires and contraption like masks. So yes. Crumpets, it says, do you hand paint or digital paint? I do both, actually. It's best described as digital mixed media. Okay, shall we have a look? Bunny, yes! Buns. Got the Guise of the Goblin and the Mask of the Red Death. Of course, inspired by Edgar Allan Poe.
Nice little preview.
Yeah. So that is what Micah and I have been working on. It's incredibly fun. If you have any suggestions for masks that you would like to see, by all means let me know. Because I'm always open and it would be an honour to create something with everybody and to have the mask that you've created or we've worked together on in the campaign. So if any ideas, please send them to me. And Kilty says, I love all these, they're so amazing and evocative, thank you so much. And Dutch says, ooh, blood goblin. Dutch says, I said it as a joke, but a mask of mischief.
Can we do a drag queen one?
Nice. Hayley says, these are beautiful, can't wait to have them in my hand along with my other decks. Yeah, what do you think about the edging then, guys? Most of the cards are going to be that black and grey finish, but then there will be some Wondrous items that have gold. So we could go gold, we could go silver, we could go green.
Maybe I'll
purple,
just go holographic or something.
Holographic.
Or black, or red.
Black.
Metallic red.
Yeah, so that's the metallic shine that we add to the cards. Yeah, so loving making that at the moment. I'm having such fun with it. I really, really am. And with that, actually, we're coming to the end of the stream, believe it or not. An hour has really passed quite quickly.
It's flown
so
by.
I'll get my little order.
These will be up, I don't know, next week.
Very soon, yeah. Just as soon
Maybe
as
this week,
in the
dunno.
studio. Dr.
Depends
Bray
how busy
says,
I am.
A mask of the ancestor comes to mind. Dinosaurian. Or Thylaco Milus skull inspired. Yeah, nice. I've got a few pagan ones that look like they're made of sticks.
A corn
and
dolly
straw.
one.
Yeah, there is a corn dolly one. Come on now. You've got to do a corn dolly. Look at this poor.
The courgette one.
Maybe a pumpkin one would be good.
Yeah,
It'd be
could
good
be.
for Halloween.
Halloween specific.
Good, yeah, I'd love to see something eldritch, perhaps a nod to Bloodborne. There is a mask of the elder gods and a cultist mask, actually. So we've got, there's Hayley, mycelium. Yeah, there's a mycelium mask. It's the mask of the, well, it's inspired by fly agaric, actually. It has a few psychedelic effects. Aww. How can I eat it? I can't eat it. I'm going to have to paint it.
It's like a little slug.
No, don't be awful. Oh, actually, I brought a black tomato to show everybody as well, but it's still in the car.
That's a shame.
Do you want to go and fetch somebody?
No.
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 We've got a new little member of the family.
Yeah, she's
but
too little at the moment.
We'll wait until she's settled in a little bit.
Maybe next week.
Garrick as James is shouting at me, Garrick. What, is that some sort of code, darling? Oh, gotta go. As James shouting at me. Puppy or kitty? We have a new addition that is a little tiny half Yorkshire Terrier and half Chihuahua puppy.
And her name is Betty.
And her name is Betty, yes.
Little Betty Boop. But she only just came yesterday, so I don't want to frighten her.
Yeah. Right, well, with that, if anybody's got any last minute questions, let us know. Big thanks for everybody for being patient with us during our internet difficulties. We are going back to a better schedule. And something that we would like to do is start streaming some gameplay as well, because we absolutely love games and it's nice to stream games.
Can we play a game that I can beat you at?
Oh yeah, if you can invent one.
Kiltia still needs to play Mario Kart with us.
Yeah, Kiltia, what happened to you, girl?
Get yourself on Mario
Get yourself
Kart.
on Mario Kart with us. And anybody who wants to join us on Mario Kart is more than welcome to. Dutch says, would you be up for streaming as you paint? Yeah, possibly, I think. Obviously all my equipment is elsewhere because I work from home on a Wednesday and a Friday, and that is where my equipment is. So it's slightly more complex to sort of cart it all over here. And then
I did some 3D modelling, but it was like their setup was really hard.
Yeah, Lucy's better placed to do the 3D modelling streams, but everybody did really enjoy that though, Lucy, so maybe you should consider it.
Alright.
Kiltia says, that's true, I do need to join a game. I'll do my best.
Usually like Sundays at 8:30.
Yeah,
like,
we'd love to have you.
That's our normal time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe Fridays 8:30. Oh no, not this Friday because we're playing D&D.
Yes, we are. We're going back to the depths of Facility X.
Ooh. Alright.
Okay then, everybody, we will see you next week. Have a lovely, lovely week. Thank you very much for joining us for GameTea. And we hope you enjoyed the product previews and seeing a little bit of what we've been up to. So, with that, I'm going to toast to you, darlings.
Cheers, darlings. Oh, I've drunk all mine.
And we will see you same game time, same game place.
It was a bit underwhelming, wasn't it?
Bye, everybody. See you next